Hi, everyone. Welcome to our monthly webinar. My name is Courtney Arroyo, and I'm from the Department of Emergency Management and Security as the Community Engagement Manager.
And I'm Mariah Katayev, and I am also with the Department of Emergency Management and Security as the Community Engagement Specialist.
This month, we are going to be talking about youth and back to school preparedness. So we're going to talk a little bit about how you can not only prepare your little ones for going back to school, but also just some tips and tricks that you guys can do at home to get prepared. Just a little housekeeping item. We wanted to let you know that if you have any comments or questions during the presentation, that you can go ahead and use the comments box, and we will do our best to get those questions answered. So this workshop, we want to really take the time to help our residents before, during, and after an emergency to really educate and prepare for what could come next. So I'm going to kick it over to Mariah, and she's going to get us started with Module 1.
Hello, everyone. So, youth preparedness is so important because, children are our future, they're everything, and one of the best ways that we can help our children not only be prepared for school but also emergencies is just bringing the training back to the home. It really begins with having a sit-down conversation with your family about the types of emergencies, and we're going to go over a little bit about that today. So, youth preparedness starts with making a plan as in an emergency plan, and that includes calling a family meeting, practicing, and packing your bags. And it can be done in a really, really fun way. It doesn't have to be scary. It doesn't have to be super stressful. There are different ways to do it. When it comes to making an emergency plan, we have some supplies that will definitely help you. On the left, you are seeing our children's emergency response guide, and that is aimed at around 4th grade level. And it is fantastic for helping children understand emergencies in a fun and comfortable way. The whole thing is a coloring book, and it has activities and things that you can do throughout it, and it also has little activity sections where you can draw out your family's emergency plans, and it talks about preparedness, response, and recovery in a really child-friendly way. It talks about different types of natural and common hazards, such as a hurricane or a fire or other sorts of hazards, in a way that children can understand. For our parents, we have on our website a way to develop your family preparedness plan in a way more in-depth way, and you can access it online, and it's fillable. Just make sure you save it because it does not stay online. And it is really fantastic because it breaks down the things that you should fill out and what you can do, and it is very user-friendly. So when we're starting an emergency plan, the first thing we need to do is sit down and talk to our family, and especially our little ones. We need to make it fun, we need to make it not as scary, and we want to make it something that is an activity so maybe they are more likely to remember it in times of an emergency. Because there has been evidence that when children are informed ahead of time what to do in different kinds of emergencies, they handle it better. So one of the ways that you can do that is, maybe do it over pizza, watching a favorite movie, or relating it to things that your children already enjoy. Maybe you can talk about different emergencies that are represented in their favorite animated movie, or just a way that fits their personality that will really get the idea across in a friendly, not scary way. Oh, could you go back one? Other things you can do is just talk about what might happen in emergencies in a less scary way. So for example, a fire, you would talk about how the smoke alarm is going to go off and how that's going to make a really loud sound. So maybe the first time children don't hear the alarm, they won't be as afraid of it. You can talk about how the fire truck's going to come and how that's going to be really loud and how that's a good thing. Just giving them a heads up of what might happen and just setting them up to feel a little more secure of what is going on in front of them. And then you can figure out what you would do in certain situations. So for example, what you would do in a flood versus a fire versus a tornado. And play and pretend. Children love imaginative play. And if we can do it in a way that is fun and interactive, it's fantastic. I know a lot of children enjoy doing races to see who can get to someone's safe meetup spot first. So for example, let's say you want to practice your emergency plan by saying, okay, what different routes can we take to get to the outside if there was a fire? And then you have one child go one way and one child go the other way, and they race. And then it's a fun interactive thing where both children are learning in a way less scary way. Next slide. Who will we contact? Having a communications plan is so important because children, there are some that do shut down when they're scared, and that makes complete sense. Tons of adults do it too. So it's really important to communicate with your loved ones ahead of time about who they will contact in times of an emergency. We always recommend trying to teach your children you and your spouse's cell phone number, and then teaching the cell phone number of an out-of-area contact. The out-of-area contact is really important because unfortunately, if something bad happens, like a really bad hurricane, it's going to affect everyone in the area. So it's really good if you can have someone to lean on or check in with that is outside of the area. Practice your plan. This goes right back to what I was saying about the races. It's only useful if you know it. It is only useful if they know what to do, and it is only useful if they do it. So you can do it in lots of different fun ways that will maybe drill it into your kid's head in a fun and friendly game way. And there's different types of games. So there's a stop, drop, and roll for fires that I'm sure we all heard as children, the drop, cover, and hold on for earthquakes, and the prizes for the first person to reach your home safe room. These are fun, interactive ways that are not scary, that might mimic things that they do in their physical education classes at school, and it will add muscle memory to it, which might help them remember it in a time of an emergency. Packing your bags. It is really important for the family to have an emergency kit, no matter if you have children or if you have children or if you don't have children. When you have an emergency kit, there are some things that people are going to need no matter what kind of family they may have, such as water, canned food. A can opener is commonly forgotten, so that is really important because we get all this canned food and we have everything set up, but we have no way of opening it, and then you have to use a knife to get your food, and then that's a safety hazard because you could get a cut that could get infected. It's really important to have flashlights, batteries, and a lot of different basic things that we're used to. Things get a little more complicated though for every family because not every family is the same. And there are different things that should be in an emergency kit depending on what kind of family you guys are. So for example, emergency kit additions for children. I love the term comfort item. If your family has to evacuate to a shelter or to a friend's house or just somewhere out of the area, that's a really scary environment for a child to be in. Their usual routine has been interrupted. So it's really great for them to have something like a book or puzzle that will comfort them, that doesn't require electricity, that they can use at a sense of home, that they can just keep in their emergency kit until they need to go. A favorite stuffed animal or blanket is fantastic. It smells like home, it feels like home, and it can really help them get through the scary environment. Identification to be carried by each child is fantastic, especially because, young children, it is hard for them to learn phone numbers or street addresses. So some sort of emergency contact card for your children to have in their kits is a fantastic thing that they could carry around with them in case, unfortunately, you do get separated from your children. Emergency kit additions for babies or toddlers. We all know that young children require a lot of supplies. A well-stocked diaper bag is, of course, number one. So that will include everything you would usually see in a diaper bag, such as diapers, wipes, anything you usually use on your infant or baby. Burp rags, pacifiers, toddler-friendly snacks, extra clothes, extra blankets. Definitely a comfort item as well, just one that you know that is safe for that child's age group. And pacifiers are huge. I know there are definitely children out there that get upset when they don't have one. So at least pack, multiple in case one does go missing or get destroyed, and, just cover your bases with that one. Extra clothes, we know babies are definitely prone to blowouts and being messy with food and all that stuff. So it's fantastic to have different clothes for your child. I always recommend a warm outfit and a cold outfit because no matter the season that it is outside, babies get affected by heat a little differently than us. So it's great to make sure that we have both options to keep our babies comfortable. And
All
now I'm
right.
going to turn it over to Courtney Arroyo.
Thank you. So, we're going to talk a little bit about back to school preparedness. And this is going to be a little bit more focused on what the parents can do and kind of educating the parents on how different procedures work in the specific school systems. So, we do know that children are more vulnerable to emergencies. So, they don't have the knowledge that we do. They don't have as much information about where to go, where to hide, or even, remember how to, drop, cover, and hold on for an earthquake. So it's really important for us to really talk to them about what kind of emergencies can happen and the different actions that they can take, and also make sure that they understand that they should listen to their teacher while they're at school. So a little, tip at the beginning of the school year, you want to make sure that all of the emergency contact information is up to date for your child's school. This means, putting together, that emergency contact card. If someone can't reach you, who are the other people that can be contacted or who are authorized to pick up your kid from school? A great thing that you can do is also put an emergency card in your child's backpack. That way, in case they're on the bus or separated from an adult, they can still have this information in their backpack and know to give it to a trusted adult. And you can find this online, and we do have the link available for it. So a little bit more about back to school preparedness. As we are going back to school, you're going to want to make sure that you know what's going to happen in case there's an emergency at your child's school. Every school has an emergency plan, whether your kid is at a public school, a private school, or even a child care center. They all have emergency plans. So you can ask some questions about where they would go in case they have to be evacuated from the area. You can ask how they would contact or let you guys know that something is going on. In Fairfax County Public Schools does have a text messaging system for parents to sign up for. So you can let the system know what specific messaging systems are, how you want to receive the message, whether it's via text, whether it's via email, and you can put several different phone numbers. You can have even grandparents sign up for it so they can get any of that emergency information. This is really important when it comes to reunifying after an emergency. During these times, it can be incredibly scary, especially if there's some type of emergency going on where your children need to be evacuated. It's super important to understand that it is a natural instinct for parents to want to go and get their children to make sure that they're safe. However, the one rule that we always want to enforce is that don't go to the incident scene. Going to the incident scene, it often delays the response and the coordination, and we don't want any kids to be handed off to the wrong individuals. So always listen to that information that you're getting from the school and follow the directions that they give you. So what can you do to talk with your kids? So we can't emphasize enough to talk to them about emergencies. And I'm not just talking about an active shooter drill, since that is, something that obviously is very prevalent nowadays. But even talking to them about, fires at school or a fire drill, a shelter in place drill, because there's some type of weather activity going on, whether it's a tornado or an earthquake. My son's school last year did have a tornado warning one day, and he came home and told me that they did shelter in place, and they went in the bathroom and they were eating pretzels, because that's how the teacher was able to get them all into one place and, follow the directions, which is great. But also make sure that they're listening to directions. They know who the adults are and who the trusted adults are. So make sure that they, understand that they need to follow directions, but they can also ask questions. So the more you talk about this, the more confident children will be when having to perform these actions. Well-informed kids who have a knowledge base of this at home definitely understand the importance of doing things very quickly during an emergency. I also want to mention that coming up this weekend, we do have the Virginia sales tax holiday. I know this is a huge time for everyone to go and get all the school supplies you need, but one of the great things that also happens this weekend is emergency preparedness supplies are also tax-free. So items such as portable generators, gas-powered chainsaws, chainsaw accessories, and other hurricane preparedness items. So that includes batteries, flashlights, all the things that you would need to put in your kit. It's a great time to go and pick those up. A lot of the stores this weekend will have their end caps, particularly near the camping aisle, or even at some local, big box stores. They'll have their end caps filled with hurricane preparedness items, which is really great. So if you can get out there Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, it's definitely well worth the savings. Mariah, I'll pass it back over to you.
Thank you, Courtney. And I just want to reiterate that definitely take advantage of the sales tax holiday if you can. We don't get tax holidays often, and it's a great one to take advantage of. Next slide, please. I'm going to be discussing different ways that we can stay informed and stay in contact with our community in times of emergencies. If you look at the image that says 6 ways to receive a warning, it talks about radio, local TV, wireless emergency alerts, or WIAs that we call them, sirens, the internet, and your friends and family. The reason that I always love having this image in there is something that tends to shock people is that we do not have tornado sirens in Fairfax County. So even though this image says outdoor sirens, it's always important to reiterate that they are just not in Fairfax County currently. So it's important to make sure that you are connected to emergency services in a different way. Everyone should definitely 100% sign up for Fairfax Alerts. It is a free program that can be on up to 10 devices, and it can be as involved or uninvolved as you want. You can use it for things such as traffic alerts, hurricane warnings, watches, whatever you see fit. So it's great if you sign up for Fairfax Alerts and you think, okay, I'm getting a little too many notifications for my personal preference. You don't have to just get off of Fairfax Alerts. You can go in and you can edit it and make it so that you will get less alerts, or just alerts for the things that you really want to concentrate on. We do have a newsletter every single month. Courtney and I are 2 of the people that work on it, so we love it. And we run the Ready Fairfax Twitter and Facebook pages, and we always update the community whenever there are watches and warnings happening. And we try to make it fun and interesting, so we talk about a taco watch or a taco warning and stuff like that. So it's not always just boring things. We try to keep it interactive. Sign up for the Functional Needs Registry. If you or someone you love has access and functional needs and some way, shape, or form. This can be a mobility issue, intellectual, or lots of kinds of things. The Functional Needs Registry is a wonderful free thing that will make sure that you get emergency information that is catered towards people with access and functional needs. An example of that is when we talk about building a kit. For the Functional Needs Registry, we'll talk about the importance of making sure that your durable medical equipment, such as walkers and wheelchairs, you somehow have written down the barcode identification number for your medical equipment so you can get it replaced if need be. The emergency health profile is through the 911 center, and it is amazing. It is an encrypted system where you can put information in that you would want a 911 responder to see if you made a call. It is very secure and no one has access to it unless you call. It is really great if you maybe have a loved one that scared might act out or act differently. This can give the emergency responders going in a heads up. The person working at the 911 center can inform them that, hey, this person might act this way, just a heads up. They do not mean to come off as this way or this way. And it's just a really safe way to give emergency responders things that you believe would be helpful for them to know about you or your family as an emergency is taking place. Get involved. We love to see everyone out in the neighborhood. I know we just had National Night Out. We love to see people involved year round, and there are tons of organizations throughout Fairfax County or through the country that have things that fit everyone's fancy. Us personally have the EM Volunteer Corps, so the Emergency Management Volunteer Corps. But if you have medical experience, maybe the Medical Reserve Corps is more your cup of tea. If you have religious training experience, maybe the chaplains is more your cup of tea. The police, we have a police group, we have a neighborhood watch group, we have a fire group. If you have a hobby, there is probably an emergency involved volunteer group for you. And it's really, we try to make it, fun and interactive, especially with, I can always speak for our volunteer corps members because we appreciate them so much, so we try to make it as fun as possible. And we could not function without our volunteers, so we always love to see people get involved within the community. Next month is National Preparedness Month, so it is our bread and butter, and we have a lot of events throughout the month. We're going to have a lot of things going on, and Courtney, are there some things you wanted to talk about in particular that are coming next month?
Sure. So next month, we are going to be talking about National Preparedness Month. We'll have some weekly themes for you so that we can go over just some different steps and unique ways to prepare for emergencies. During September, we're also out in the community a lot. We have a couple big events. So we'll be at the Burke Festival doing a tent where the theme for us is Ready, Set, No. We'll be teaching hands-only CPR. We'll have some kits to demonstrate how to stop the bleed. And we'll also have some activities for the 9/11 Day of Service where families will be able to come and pack an emergency kit to donate to the community, but they'll also be able to pack a kit for themselves. So we're really looking forward to having everyone come out and join us. This is a really big event and one of the annual events that we go to as a group as Citizen Corps every year. So we're really looking forward to it. And if you have anyone that you would like us to do a presentation to, we can always set that up, and you can reach out to us or request a presentation on our website.
Courtney, could I just add one more thing about Burke Festival?
Mm-hmm.
So Burke Center Festival is super family friendly. And we're going to have our children's emergency response guide, which again is a coloring book. We're going to be giving out colored pencils. And we're going to have a lot of activities that are aimed at children. And we even have a Planko board. I believe that is how it's pronounced, Planko or Planko, where kids can drop something down, and depending on what they land on, they get to tell us about that kind of hazard, and then they get a prize. Don't worry, everyone gets a prize. So it's a really fun, interactive event, no matter the ages in your family.
And that's about it. So we're going to put our contact information up here. So if you have any comments or questions or would like to request a presentation, you can feel free to um, reach out to us. And we really look forward to seeing you guys again next month.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Thanks.